Well, if you haven't done your taxes yet, what are you waiting for? Get moving. Only 2 weeks until that April 15th deadline
to
pay Uncle Sam.
Yeah. And while you're getting all those receipts together, also so fun, don't forget your charitable contributions. It's not as easy to claim those donations, though, as it used to be, but you can still benefit from giving back. Lisa Dietland, the president and CEO of the Institute of Transformational Philanthropy.
It's like doing your taxes.
See, you've been so busy doing
That's what
taxes.
I get for trying to make a joke. Philanthropy, I do know how to say that word, joins us now with some ideas on how you can, both give back and save on your taxes potentially. So thanks for being here. I know, millions of Americans give to charity every single year. And, how do we make sure if you do that, you know what to give in order to also potentially benefit when you go do your taxes.
And get some deductions that work for you.
True. It's one of the few things that remain that we can still deduct from our taxes. When I was growing up, the interest on your automobile loans you could deduct, and the interest on your credit cards and the payments you made, but those are gone.
The good old days.
Union dues.
Union dues.
You used to be able to do that.
The political contributions in some states. But charitable deductions are still an option for people when they're itemizing their tax returns. So many Americans do the standardized deduction, but if you're donating to charity and you're itemizing, the best way to ensure that you're going to get those deductions is keep good record keeping.
Well, the old saying is, it's better to give than receive. It's the thought that counts, but you want to be smart and make the donations you give work to your advantage if they can. So what can we do to be smarter donors?
Well, I always say we're smart shoppers, so let's be smart donors too. I always recommend do research. When this past week somebody knocked on my door and I opened it, and the young man was telling a story about somebody being killed, and could I make a donation and get my Venmo out? And I said, can you just tell me the URL? Can you tell me the website? And he ran. So you got to be smart about it. Whenever I get anything in the mail or whenever I get anything in email, I actually go online and look at that organization. I try to decide if this is real, if this is something I care about.
And not a scam.
And not a scam. But I also recommend to people who are thinking about donating, what's important to you? Beyond your house of worship and your alma mater or your kid's school, what do you care about? Did somebody get diagnosed with a disease in your family this last year that now all of a sudden is really important to the family, that there be research done or support? Did somebody adopt a dog or a cat and now all of a sudden you care about animals and the animal shelter? Did somebody move and there's a great park in their neighborhood that needs refurbishing? Think about those things that impact you. I always recommend if you're just diving in, go local. And there are organizations that can help guide you beyond the nonprofit organizations. Their Charity Navigator is one that you can look up, and they have a star system to rate nonprofit organizations, as well as the Better Business Bureau. We know, that for business, but we don't think about it for charity. And they have standards of excellence, and they rate charities. And then GuideStar, which most people are unaware of, but they actually collect the 990s, which are a tax form for nonprofits. So you can see how much they raised, how much they gave away, who's on the board, who runs the organization. It's a wealth of information.
I think we're showing viewers some of the resources too that can help them make intelligent donations.
Absolutely, because these are free services that these entities, which are nonprofits themselves, have set up to help donors be smart donors. None of us want to be taken advantage of. None of us want to be scammed. And I would say 98% of nonprofits are really operating in good faith. There's 1.5 million registered nonprofits in this country.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
It's a lot. And the IRS, Ryan, gets 100 new applications a day. So sometimes we get nervous. If it's a new nonprofit, we might not want to donate. If it's a well-standing 100-year-old, I've heard criticism on both ends. But you have to do what feels good for you.
Very quickly, you had to make a lot of any donations by December 31st to file them for this year's taxes. What can you tell our viewers that they can do right now to start planning ahead for next year's taxes?
Great question. You have to make a plan. I always say make a plan of how much you want to give and where you want to give, and then leave a little extra in your budget for those unexpected requests that come along. The gala or the benefit or that issue that hits your family that all of a sudden you want to donate to. I also say, think about donating goods and services. You can volunteer your time. While that isn't deductible, it makes you feel good. You can donate. Last week I went to the Salvation Army and I donated a bunch of things from my house that I was no longer using. And the person said, spring cleaning, huh? And I was like,
I'm
yeah,
right there
but
with
I
you.
got a
Clean out the
receipt.
closets, right?
Right, but
Yeah.
get a receipt. Make
Yes.
sure you get a receipt. That's the thing
And
that
don't
you're
lose it.
owed. And don't lose it. Put
File
it
it
in the
away.
tax file.
Lisa Deland, thanks so much for being with us. Of course, she is the president and CEO of the Institute of Transformational Philanthropy.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for the helpful hints. Right around tax time, just 2 weeks to go. We'll